Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. The Republican National Committee now firmly in the hands of Donald Trump and his family. The party is now under the stewardship of, among others, the ex-president's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, whose latest single, Anything Is Possible, drops this Friday. But in addition to her burgeoning musical career, Lara Trump is hard at work reshaping the Republican Party into an organization based first and foremost around her father-in-law and his ongoing lies about the 2020 election, which he lost. As the Washington Post reports, quote, those seeking employment at the Republican National Committee after a Donald Trump-backed purge of the committee this month have been asked in job interviews if they believe the 2020 election was stolen, according to people familiar with the interviews, making the false claim a litmus test of sorts for hiring. Lara Trump confirmed to NBC News senior Capitol Hill correspondent Garrett Haake today the RNC is all in on pushing election fraud nonsense heading into this next election.
Is it going to be the position of the RNC in 2024 that the 2020 election was not fairly decided or that it was stolen somehow?
Well, I think we're past that. I think that's in the past. We learned a lot. Certainly, we took a lot of notes. Right now, we have 23 states that have 78 lawsuits in these states to ensure that it is harder to cheat and easier to vote.
Here at this organization, we had sort of the inverse of this debate this week. Our litmus test is the opposite of the RNC. We're going to be part of what we used to call a reality-based community, one where we acknowledge the basic fact that Joe Biden won the 2020 election by 7 million votes. The Republican National Committee apparently does not live in reality, instead choosing to recede into a fantasy world where the election was stolen from Donald Trump. Here's the thing that's the weirdest part of this whole thing, all right? Donald Trump is like a 50-50 coin flip to win the next election. He's leading or tied in just about every relevant poll right now. He's got a real shot of outright winning the election in November. But it's so revealing that the MAGA movement isn't actually interested in winning in a small d democratic sense. It really looks to all the world, based on the way they have undertaken things at the RNC and the campaign. They would actually rather essentially steal the election or finish the project of upending American democracy entirely. A total rejection of free and fair elections as an achievable aim is their intended goal. And this cultish devotion to the lie, the persistent, enduring lie about widespread election fraud in 2020 is one of their ways of accomplishing that. Logistically speaking, the problem with that strategy is that every single rational good faith actor can see the election was not stolen. And every time the big lie is marched into an institution where facts and reality matter, it gets laughed out of the room.
Hey everyone, MSNBC has a new and improved app. You'll get real-time alerts and analysis, live blogs, in-depth essays, video highlights, and the best 2024 election coverage. Download the new MSNBC app. Here's how to do it. You tap on the App Store on your phone. You hit search on the bottom right corner. You type in MSNBC. You click on the MSNBC app. You click on Get or the cloud icon and enjoy it.